So welcome to this masterclass, how to reach, raise, and make millions. This is the 5-step strategy that my clients and I use, and I'm going to share it with you today. So I'm Aurora Winter. I'm a TV producer, the author of 5 books, and I've been on many TV and radio shows, as well as been featured in some magazines. So that's a little bit about me. So this masterclass is for you if you are an ambitious entrepreneur, a thought leader, an innovator. It's for tech startups, for experts, writers, producers. Basically, this masterclass is for you if you use your expertise to create value and unique solutions for your clients. You're going to learn how to generate $250,000 in 90 days. You'll learn how to become magnetic to investors, clients, and the media, even if you run a tech startup and you're not even based in Silicon Valley, even if nobody has ever heard of you or your business before. You will also learn how to tip every single sales call in your favor before you even arrive. You'll learn how to sell more and sell at higher prices and to turn your clients into loyal fans, all without compromising your vision, freedom, or weekends with your family. So my promise to you, if you pay attention during this about 45-minute masterclass, you will get this 5-step strategy to an extra $250,000 a quarter. That's $1 million a year. So pay attention, keep notes. This will be very valuable time spent thinking about you and your business. And I just want to let you know, the results I'm going to be sharing are not typical. My clients are extraordinary entrepreneurs, and their results are extraordinary. And my results are extraordinary too. This is not about get-rich-quick schemes. This is about leveraging your expertise, making a bigger difference, and as a result of making a bigger difference, making a bigger income and a bigger impact. So, before we get started with the content, let me just check in with you for a moment. Does this sound like you? Do you know that you have a superior solution, but feel frustrated that others just don't get it? Or do you worry about making payroll? Or perhaps you need investors, but you're leaving pitch meeting after pitch meeting, disappointed and empty-handed? Is that something you're experiencing? Or does this sound like you? I'm curious. Do you wake up at night worried that you might run out of runway before your business really takes off? That you might just run out of time? Or do you secretly feel afraid that you might fail? You might have to get a real job? Or do you sometimes feel envy as others get the respect, recognition, and riches you deserve for your great ideas and hard work? Or does this sound like you? Do you secretly believe in your heart of hearts that your business could be worth $10 million or more if only you don't fail and run out of time, run out of cash before you get it off the ground? Well, the good news is that none of those things are the real problem. The real problem is you haven't used the right keys to leverage your expertise into massive success. I'm going to share 5 keys to unlock your success that will help you become magnetic to investors, to clients, and to the media. So who am I? I'm Aurora Winter. I have an MBA from 2015. I'm the author of 5 books, a television producer. I've been featured on CBS, Hallmark, Fox, NPR. Oprah Radio called me and I was featured on Oprah Radio. I've been featured in print as well, in Success Magazine, Elle Magazine, Maclean's, Women's Day, and on and on. So I know what I'm talking about because I myself have done the things I'll be sharing with you, and so have my clients. I have launched 3 different businesses in different industries. Each of them generated 7 figures, and I did so without a launch, without losing control, without connections, and certainly without being born with a silver spoon in my mouth. The results have been extraordinary. My clients and I have made millions, raised millions, and reached millions. We have grown from little tiny companies to dominate market share. We've doubled prices and doubled profit margins and attracted really heavy hitters like Google, Intel, Netflix, PBS, the media, and investors, and grown our companies exponentially. So what I'm going to share with you today is the 5 keys to exponential success so you can do the same. Here's the question I asked myself after I finished my MBA in 2015. I'd taken 2 years off to go to Italy and get my MBA, and I wanted a fresh start with a new business. And so I really thought about, deeply studied, what really made the difference in my own life, in my clients' lives, and what made the difference in some biographies of famous people. For example, what made the difference between a struggling high school teacher making only $8,000 a year, scraping by, pork and beans, mac and cheese, or that same person making $60,000 an hour? What made the difference between someone who is singing in the shower or singing to sold-out crowds, a beloved superstar? Or what made the difference from someone who was evicted from a studio apartment, or that same person living as a multimillionaire in a castle and making a huge difference in the world? And what I discovered as I reviewed my own track record of success and studied the biographies and added that to everything I learned taking my economics degree and my MBA is there's really 5 keys to unlocking your potential. 5 keys to adding $250,000 in 90 days or an extra 7 figures per year. 5 keys that will help you become magnetic to investors, clients, and the media. And I'm going to walk you through all 5 of these keys today. Here's key number 1. But first, I want to bust a myth. There's the myth that the best product wins. The fact is, it's the best message that wins. In fact, it was very interesting. There was a double-blind study published in the book Significant Objects. And what they studied was what impact does it have on the value of an object if you put a story with it. And they discovered that the impact was enormous. In fact, the value increased 2,700%. The same object sold with a story or without a story. That means that you could increase your revenue 27 times. 27 times bigger revenue potentially with a powerful message. This is worth paying attention to. And this is what I call your $1 million message. You need to have a $1 million message if you want to double, triple, or 27-fold increase your income. What do I mean by a $1 million message? Well, here's an example. 40 years ago, when Bill Gates said he wanted to see a computer on every desk and in every home, that was a clear, concise soundbite. People understood what he meant, and in fact, his vision has now become true. We've got a computer on every desk and practically in every pocket as well. Another example of a $1 million message is when Steve Jobs said that the iPod was 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's what he said when he was pitching the iPod, and that created a media frenzy and a buying frenzy. That was a very effective $1 million message. The wrong message, in fact, is flushing money down the toilet. You cannot outspend a bad message. So many people rush to place advertising, rush to get radio ads, TV ads, print ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, but they skip past the most important part of all, which is to have the right message. But the truth is, you cannot outspend a bad message. The truth is, the right message can increase the value of the product or service you have to share by 27 times. That's the average that was found in that study published in the book Significant Objects. So having the right message is the highest leverage and lowest cost tool in your toolkit as an amazing, extraordinary entrepreneur. In fact, any business that is worth generating $1 million a year is probably flushing at least, at minimum, $25,000 a month down the toilet with the wrong message. You might as well just take your $100 bills and flush them down the toilet. So you cannot outspend a poor message. It is so valuable to take the time and discover and discern and create your own unique $1 million message. There's also a myth that a right idea is enough, and that's totally true. You can have $1 million idea, and you still need $1 million message. $1 million idea is not enough. You've got to have $1 million message. In fact, I have an example from my own life of a good idea and a bad message. I learned these things the hard way, so you don't have to. I was in the yacht sales business and I had $1 million idea, which was to sell boats with tax shelter benefits. This was a kick-ass idea. There was a 7% investment tax credit. They could write the boats off at 33.33% depreciation. They could get 10% personal use, which meant it was 90% used for business. But I buried people with boring data, Excel spreadsheets, income tax information, and people were like, I don't quite get what she's talking about, and it's taking too much brain power to think about it. But when I took the same idea and gave it $1 million message, the results were phenomenal. That $1 million message was 5 weeks of sun, fun, and tax shelter. Did the phone ring off the hook? Did the people come in droves? In fact, I remember one boat show, which was about 5 days long, we sold $3 million worth of boats. In fact, we had $1 million cash in our bank account at that time. So the difference between $1 million idea without the right message and $1 million idea with $1 million message is well over $1 million. So the results were extraordinary. We doubled our profit margins from 12% to 24%. Our customers loved us, and we grew from a little tiny company to dominant market share. We became the largest yacht dealer in Western Canada and made millions of dollars because we had $1 million message to go with that $1 million idea. So what does this mean for you? Basically means don't be boring, weak, or forgettable. Instead, be unstoppable. In my experience, a determined entrepreneur with a powerful $1 million message is practically unstoppable. That $1 million message means that your 747, instead of being stuck on the ground, can be flying high in the air. All right, that's key number 2 is coming up next. But first, I want to bust a myth. The myth is that slow is safe. The fact is that slow is deadly nowadays. Things are moving way too quickly for people and CEOs to move slowly. They will have missed the opportunity before they take action. In fact, wise CEOs decide quickly and they grab opportunities. In fact, there was a study that showed that so-called cheetah CEOs, cheetah because the cheetah runs so fast, the decisive entrepreneurs, the decisive CEOs who took quick action with only partial information, they generated 500% more revenue and more profit for their companies over the long haul by acting quickly and decisively. And if you want to see that study, you can look it up in the book Who, W-H-O. In fact, Fortune 500 companies in 1955, they had the average lifespan of 75 years. And that time in 1955, probably slow was safe, but not anymore. In 2015, the Fortune 500 companies only stayed in existence 15 years. More than half of them have gone bankrupt. In other words, nowadays, if you snooze, you lose. We're in the transformation economy now. Things are growing and changing quickly. Transformation is exciting, though. There'll be big winners and also big losers. So you don't want to be in the big losers. You don't want to be staying stuck in 1955. You want to move forward with 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. The old way doesn't work anymore. And if you don't move quickly, you could be like Blockbuster, bankrupt, Kodak, bankrupt. On the other hand, there are big winners in this time of massive change as well. For example, Tesla. Elon Musk had a very clear, powerful message, and he saw that electric cars everywhere was the solution to one of the world's biggest problems. He warned that we would run out of fossil fuels to burn and civilization would collapse unless we shifted the way we did things. And look at what he's done now. Tesla is beginning to transform the way that we drive and the amount that we pollute our air. So Tesla and Elon Musk are examples of vision plus $1 million message equals success. You want to be on the side of the big winners. But Elon Musk didn't rely on crunching the numbers to decide what to do about Tesla. In fact, when he crunched the numbers about electric cars, he thought it was very, very likely that he would go bust. But he decided to do it anyway because it was the right thing to do. And when he saw the U.S. car manufacturers were destroying the electric cars that they had made, he just revolted. And people were so upset with their electric cars that American manufacturers were destroying. And Elon Musk decided it was absolutely essential to do something about it, even if it was a risky gamble. And his gamble paid off and has made a contribution to the world. The same with SpaceX. Elon Musk thought it was very unlikely that it would succeed, but he's on his way to, again, transforming our society. So we're in the transformation economy now. What transformation does your business provide? How can you transform your skills, your products, your service? How can you continue to transform your team? How can you disrupt the old way of doing things and transform the world or your community to do things a better way? In fact, those disruptive businesses are the ones that can go from zero to hero very quickly and, in fact, have $1 million or $1 billion paydays. There is a paradox, though, that the best ideas are often the most difficult to convey. Why? Because they're not just changing things 10% or 20% from the normal way of doing things. They're completely new paradigms. So, for example, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, Facebook, Instagram, all of these companies, when they were initially started, were like, what are you talking about? And yet, because they disruptive massive industries, they've all become super successful. So lean into transformation. It's no longer enough just to improve things 10 or 15%. I have some clients who are in the transforming business. In fact, Blueprint Reality is transforming broadcasting. They have mixed reality and virtual reality in real time. So watch out for Blueprint Reality. The CEO is Tarny Williams. He's making a real difference. And in fact, since he started the training with me, he has signed a deal with Intel. So that was quite a success. Here's another client, Bram Wenger. He has a TV series called Mac and Moxie. It started off as just one kid's book and then became a series of best-selling kids' books, and then now it is a TV series on PBS and Netflix. But what was the key difference with this TV series? He had a transformative business model. It wasn't just a TV series. He also had baked into his business model that he would transform charities and that the TV series would fund the charities and do good works for every episode. So that was a transformative idea. Here's key number 3. But first, again, I want to bust a myth. The myth is that profit comes from profit margins. The truth is that profit comes from pitching and presenting powerfully. The pitch equals profit. Showbiz grabs our attention, tells a story, takes us on a journey. Even experienced speakers like Steve Jobs mastered his pitch for every single Apple launch. He spent 3 weeks practicing exactly what words he would deliver, exactly where he would stand on the stage. It's not true that masterful communicators just naturally show up that way. No, they practice, and they perfect what they're doing. In fact, another masterful communicator, Tim Ferriss, who's a best-selling author and also has a podcast. He's communicating all the time. And yet, when he was invited to speak on the TED stage, what did he do? He practiced again and again the talk that he wanted to deliver on TED. And he practiced under pressure so that he would really hone his skills and become better and better by practicing his TED Talk in front of audiences that didn't know him. So, you're in showbiz. That's right. The best CEOs know that they are in showbiz. The best entrepreneurs are visionaries and thought leaders. In fact, you too are in the business of show business. You're in the business of showcasing your business, your products, your services, your clients, and your team. That's right. You're in the business of showcasing your business. Might as well lean into it. So I have a background in showbiz. In fact, I raised $5 million for a film and television production company that I started with a partner in London, England, while I was based in Hollywood. And that company has gone on to make 8 films. So that was a fantastic result. So to recap, what have I covered so far? The first 3 keys are, number 1, you need $1 million message. Number 2, we are in the transformation economy now. And number 3, you're in showbiz. Key number 4, be an author and expert. That's right, the best CEOs and entrepreneurs are thought leaders. And the magic sauce, the magic recipe to becoming a thought leader is to be an author and an expert. When you are an author and an expert, you can get on radio, TV, on stages. There's so many opportunities that are open to you as a thought leader who is an author and an expert. And otherwise, if you're not positioned as an author and expert, these doors are shut. You cannot get on national TV or radio unless you are a thought leader, author, and expert. And I want to bust a myth. Most entrepreneurs don't write a book because they think it takes years to write a book. And it's true, it can take years to write a book. But that is a myth I want to bust. Because you can also write a book in a weekend. In fact, I got so tired of my clients taking years to write their books that I wrote my last book in a weekend. Just to make a point. That's the book Marketing Fast Track. And I wrote it in a weekend, and that book has helped me get on radio, get on TV, and many other things. In fact, I used that book as part of the marketing funnel that generated $250,000 of new business for a new service, and I did so in just 90 days. And in fact, one of the services that my team and I provide for entrepreneurs who are running 7-figure businesses and just don't have the time to write a book is to help them write a book in a weekend and take care of all the details for them. All they need to do is show up for a weekend of being interviewed, and we handle the rest. Being an author is really a game changer. I cannot emphasize what a big deal it is. Authors are experts. Experts go on radio, go on TV, get invited to speak. And when you have that media coverage, you're getting free advertising. You're spreading your message to millions, and it's not costing you millions. It's costing you nothing. By becoming an author, you can leapfrog over much larger competition. Without outspending them on advertising, you can grow your market share because you can be a guest on radio, on TV, you can show up in magazines as an expert who's being quoted. And again, media coverage costs nothing, whereas advertising is very expensive. In fact, my 5 books have added at least $1 million of income to my businesses. From selling the books themselves, I've maybe made, $30,000, $40,000. But as a lead magnet for a business, books are amazing. They are really very powerful tools. My books have resulted in speaking invitations, TV and radio interviews, partnerships, and much more. And you can have a book too. I teach people how to write a book in 12 weeks or less, or if you're really eager, to write a book in a weekend. A book is a powerful lead magnet. Let's face it, the honest truth is people throw away brochures. They don't keep business cards, but people keep books for years and years. I've had people who've moved multiple times who've called me and just said, I just want to let you know, every time I clean out my bookshelf, every time I move, I still keep your books because they meant so much to me. So you can write a book in 12 weeks or in just 2 days. By delegating, you should focus on your business where you make a lot of money. Here's an example of some of my clients who've done the Thought Leader launch with myself and my team. This is Justine and Janice Doan. They have a fantastic dentistry practice in San Diego, California. And I interviewed them for 2 days. They were all nervous. And afterwards, we created a book by transcribing that interview. And then, of course, my team and I tidied it up. And their book is Keys to a Healthy Smile After 40. They were blown away when they read the book and cried and said, oh my gosh, this is amazing, because this is going to change the energy that they can talk about their dentistry practice. Now they can talk on a national stage because they're experts, they're authors, and they also said it'd make their mom really proud. Here's another client. His book is called The 60-Day Quarter. It's Jason Henneberry, and he is the CEO of DocAssist, and he's got 35 employees, several businesses, running a 8-figure business, and of course he doesn't have time to write a book. So again, he did the Thought Leader launch, and my team and I helped him write a book in a weekend. And because he delegated, he can focus on where he makes the most money, and he can still go from just a businessman to all of a sudden being an author and an expert who can be on radio, be on TV, and he's very likely going to win Top 40 Under 40. And as you can see, he's holding an award right here, and he has been acknowledged as the best service provider in mortgages in Canada. So a marketing funnel is a very key way to leverage your time. It works 24/7 while you sleep. Your book is part of your marketing funnel. Your marketing funnel broadcasts your message. It communicates the transformation you provide. It enhances your star power. It reinforces your brand. And it does so, again, 24/7 automatically while you sleep. So for example, after I came back from doing my MBA, as I mentioned before, I had launched 3 other businesses that generated 7 figures each. And I'm like, what should I do next? And so I decided to use my book, Marketing Fast Track, and a couple of videos to launch my new training, which is called Your $1 Million Message, because I love to use my background as a TV writer-producer and my background as a serial entrepreneur to help other entrepreneurs. And what were the results of launching this marketing funnel? Well, in just 90 days, I generated $250,000 of new business. And the investment in advertising was only about $12,500. That's a 20 times return on investment. And what brought me those clients was a marketing funnel that, again, works 24/7 while I sleep. My marketing funnel is a book and 5 short videos that add value and an invitation to then speak to me or somebody on my team. All right, so getting to key number 5. This one is very important. This is the final key of the 5 keys that I'm sharing with you today in this masterclass. Key number 5. The myth is talent is born. The fact is talent is grown. There's a great book, The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle, and he reports on extensive research about talent. And he realized that there were three keys to the periods of time where there was explosions of talent, say in the Italian Renaissance period where you had Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and other people. There were three factors between somebody who was just ho-hum and an explosion of talent. Step number one is to decide. You need to decide that you're going to maximize your potential and live up to everything that's possible. You need to be determined, so you provide that match. The second step is deep practice. In order to master something, you need to practice and practice so you get better and better. But the key is you want to practice the right way so you won't be practicing your mistakes. Sometimes when a tennis player comes to a tennis pro, they first have to unlearn the mistakes that they're made. So you want to deeply practice, but you want to practice under the guidance of a mentor. So the third step in growing talent is to get a mentor. And your mentor is like the GPS that keeps you on track and has you deeply practicing at the edge of your skills so that your comfort zone is expanding and practicing things the right way. Success key number 5, get a mentor. In fact, if you think education is expensive, the truth is that not having education is expensive. I know every time I've invested in mentoring, I've hesitated. It's a big decision. I remember once I invested about $15,000 to have somebody help me speak from the stage and host my own events. I didn't want to make all the rookie mistakes because my reputation is everything to me. I wanted to do it right the first time. So I remember when I signed the contract and sent it back to invest $15,000, I felt relief. And I felt relief for two reasons. One, this person who had the expertise that I wanted had my back for a whole year, and he had committed to help mentor me into my greatness. And the second reason I felt relief was because I had demonstrated to myself that I believed in me. I had demonstrated to myself that I was worth investing in. And even though $15,000 felt like a lot of money at that time, I laugh now because as a result of that mentoring, the very next event I hosted, I had a $100,000 event. And in fact, fast forward a whole bunch of years, my last event was a six-figure event too. So my return on that investment has been amazing, probably at least 20-fold. And that's been my experience every time that I've invested in a mentor. So poor people versus rich people, what is the difference? Poor people really value money, whereas rich people value their time. Rich people use money to buy time and to accelerate their success. So where are you on that? Are you holding on very tightly to your money? Or are you really leveraging your expertise, leveraging your time so that you can generate wealth and leave a legacy? The truth is, time is limited. In fact, time is your most precious asset. Money, after all, is a renewable resource. They're printing more of it every day. There is such a huge supply of money. But you only get so many heartbeats. When God says, that's it, it's time for your heart to stop beating, will you have achieved your goals? Will you have left the lasting legacy that you'd like to for your family, for your friends, for your community? Will you have left a vision for how you'd like the world to be in a book, perhaps, that inspires others to carry on with your mission? For example, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, their visions continue to this day because they were powerful, effective, and visionary leaders. I know this one from personal experience. My mother died recently, and I was so grateful for every day that we spent together. My husband also died when he was only 33, and our son was 4. And I just was very confronted by the fact that our time is limited. And that's why, time and time again, I've invested in education. I just went and took 2 years off to get my MBA in Italy and in Iowa. I also invested when I came back in a $9,000 mentoring program, and that was part of why I could generate $250,000 in 90 days. Every time I've invested in my education, in coaching, or mentoring, it has paid off 10 times, 20 times, sometimes even 100 times. What about you? In fact, mentoring time and time again has made the difference between somebody just being an ordinary person and stepping into being extraordinary. For example, Celine Dion, one of the most beloved singers of all time, and one of the wealthiest as well. She actually comes from a family in Quebec, Canada, and her sisters are also very talented singers. In fact, Celine Dion herself said that she's not the most talented singer in her family. But what did Celine Dion have that her sisters did not? She had a mentor. In fact, Renee became her mentor, showed her the ropes, made introductions, helped grow her talent, later became her husband, and he made the difference between her singing in the shower or singing to sold-out crowds for millions of dollars. Let's take another example. What about Tony Robbins? Look at him today. Once he was that person I mentioned at the beginning. He was living in a tiny studio apartment. It was so small he had to wash his dishes in the bathtub because there was no sink. And when he came home one day, there was an eviction notice on the door. How frustrating. He went inside to flip on the light and read the notice, but the electricity had been turned off because he was so broke he didn't pay the bills. And yet, where is he today? A multimillionaire. He's just got a feature film. He's got a popular TED Talk. He has inspired and influenced millions of people. But what was the difference between that broke kid who was evicted from that tiny studio apartment and the man he is today? The difference was a mentor. Jim Rohn mentored Tony and made the world of difference. In fact, Jim Rohn recently passed away, but you may know that he wrote books, he hosted events, he did, in fact, all the things that Tony Robbins benefits from doing today. So investing with Jim Rohn, studying under him, has transformed Tony's life. I'm not even sure if he can calculate the return on that investment. I think Tony only invested, $1,200 at the very beginning to listen to all of Jim Rohn's tapes, and then later he worked for Jim Rohn. So I am a mentor also, and what I do is I grow talented entrepreneurs. I'm passionate about entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I sold my first business when I was in my 20s. I sold it for 6 figures. My next 3 businesses all generated 7 figures. And I believe that entrepreneurs are the engine of our economy. I believe that entrepreneurs are the engine that are going to solve the world's most pressing and most challenging problems. I don't think the government's going to help us, and I don't think big corporations are either. This is why I have devoted my life to growing entrepreneurs. I believe the world needs your ideas, needs your solutions, needs your insights. Your business is the engine that you use to create value for yourself, for your family, and for the world. And so it's my pleasure to be on a mission to empower entrepreneurs to discover, design, and deliver their own unique million-dollar message so they stop being the best kept secret and instead 10x or 100x their income and their impact. The puzzle is solved. What is the difference between that struggling high school teacher making $8,000 a year that I mentioned at the beginning of this masterclass, or that same person making $60,000 per hour? Well, once again, the difference was a mentor. I'm talking about Jack Canfield, who's the co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series of books. And in fact, Jack Canfield lives in Santa Barbara, fairly near to my home in Santa Barbara. I've been at a mastermind at his home, and one of my stories is in a Chicken Soup for the Soul book that was published in September 2017. So these 5 keys, Jack Canfield knew them, and he implemented them. And again, the puzzle is solved. Singing in the shower or a megastar singing to sold-out crowds, That's Celine Dion. Just covered her. Being evicted from that studio apartment or living in a castle as a multimillionaire. Well, that's Tony Robbins. We just covered him. So to win, what do you need? Basically, you need these 5 things. Number 1, your $1 million message. Number 2, the transformation you provide. Number 3, you're in showbiz. How can you showcase your business? Be a powerful pitcher and presenter, powerful speaker, really command attention. Number 4, you need a book. You must position yourself as a thought leader and an author and an expert, and you need a mentor. So now you have a choice. You can let this masterclass just be interesting information and do nothing. And I guarantee you, if you do nothing, things will stay exactly the same. You'll still be worried about making payroll. You'll still be wondering if you're going to fail or if your business could sell for millions of dollars. You're going to be confronted with other people getting the recognition and respect that you think you deserve for your outstanding ideas and your track record of success. And worst of all, your family probably won't see much of you because you'll be working so hard. You'll be sacrificing weekends with your family, vacations with your family, in order to try to make things work with the wrong recipe. Because if you're missing just one of these 5 keys, things aren't going to go well. Or you can be unstoppable. You can get that 747 off the ground and into the air where you can just take off. My experience, a determined entrepreneur with a powerful $1 million message is practically unstoppable. And I've seen this time and time again with my clients who go from just a trickle of income, just a couple of employees, but really great ideas, to just amazing businesses that are raising millions of dollars or $500,000 and really get going very quickly. So here's how I can help. My team and I have set aside some time to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting today. So who this business breakthrough session is for, it's for entrepreneurs who have an existing business that creates value. Or it's for people who own a promising tech startup that's maybe not creating value yet, but that could perhaps be valued at 10 million, 20 million, 30 million once you raise capital and get it off the ground. And in that case, you also need to have a track record of success so that I can really help you launch very quickly. So basically, this is for ambitious entrepreneurs who are eager to take their business from where they are today and just 10x it, grow their businesses exponentially. Here's how to book a call. It's very simple. All you want to do is go online to bookcall.biz. I'll see if I can a little button appear in the corner there. Go to bookcall.biz and you'll have access to an online calendar. You can then pick a time that is convenient for you. After you've selected your time, you've booked your appointment, then please just complete a very short online application. This tells us more about you so I can look at your website, see what you're up to, and that way you'll get even more value out of your business breakthrough session. I do want to let you know there's only one of me, and I have many thousands of people who are receiving this, so spaces are very limited, so jump on that right away if you'd like to speak to me or one of my team members. And I promise you, it will be the best 45 minutes that you spend focusing on your business, on growing it, and having the vision from the 50,000-foot view, what you need to do to take your business from where it is today to where you'd like it to be. Most entrepreneurs are so busy running their business that they're working in their business instead of working on their business. Here's what we will do during your session. We'll work with you to create a blueprint to hit your goals, whether that's $250,000 or $2.5 million, and also a plan for attracting the right clients, investors, and media so that you can leverage your expertise, so you can leverage your ideas, so you can leverage your team, you can leverage your products and services and take it to the next level quickly. Again, the thing to do is just go to bookcall.biz, choose a time, and then fill out a short application. Well, I'm really noticing you've stayed to the end of this master class, so that says a lot about your determination to grow your business, make a bigger difference. And I just want to give you a recap again so you didn't miss any of the points in case you didn't write them down fast enough. And I also want to share a little story about one of my clients. All of my clients are extraordinary entrepreneurs. All of my clients have a track record of success. But as anybody who's an entrepreneur knows, it can be very difficult to launch a new product or service or start a new company, and you can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and still be quite uncertain whether this is going to be a green light go or a red light crash and burn. One of my clients was feeling just so concerned. He'd plowed all of his money into his new business and it hadn't taken off yet. He'd gone to pitch meeting after pitch meeting, seeking to raise capital or seeking to close deals, and people were interested, but he came away empty-handed. And he was really discouraged. He'd used up all his runways, used up all his available cash, and he was really confronted. Maybe he was going to have to sell his house. His wife wasn't going to like that, but the alternative was to face his wife, face his children, face his family, face the community that respected and admired what he had achieved in his other businesses, and say he failed. And being a failure was not an option. No way. So he began mentoring and training with me. And while he was initially worried that he would have to sell his home or lose everything, instead, we nailed these 5 keys for him. And within months, he had the money flooding in. He went to pitch meeting after pitch meeting and got contract after contract after contract. In fact, in about 90 days, he exceeded his goal of $500,000 and got $200,000 more than his goal. So he was looking at about $700,000 that came in just a matter of months by nailing these 5 keys that I'm sharing with you. So needless to say, he is a raving fan, and that's what I'd like to see for you. Sometimes the difference between failure and bankruptcy and just, a multi-million-dollar buyout is just nailing one of these 5 keys. Everybody's got blind spots, and what I do as a mentor and coach is help you find yours. So, to recap, there are 5 keys to raising millions, reaching millions, and making millions. Today I promise to share those 5 keys with you. I promise to show you how to generate $250,000 in 90 days, as I've done and many of my clients have done. I promise to show you how to become magnetic to investors, clients, and the media, even if you run a tech startup and you're not even based in Silicon Valley, and even if no one has ever heard of you or your business before. I also promise to cover how to tip every sales call in your favor even before you arrive, and how to sell more at higher prices and turn your clients into raving fans, and how to do all of this without compromising your vision, freedom, or weekends and vacations with your family. Key number 1 is your $1 million message. You need a unique $1 million message. Key number 2, we're in the transformation economy now. The information economy is dead. So what transformation does your business provide? Because if you can disrupt existing industries, that's when you can get a multi-million-dollar or sometimes even $1 billion payday, as Instagram experienced. Key number 3, you're in showbiz. That's right. You're in the business of showcasing your business, your products, your services, your team, and your clients. Key number 4, you need a book. Position yourself as a thought leader is a game changer. Key number 5, your mentor. It's foolishness to try to figure all this out by yourself when you could accelerate your success and get to the top much more quickly with a mentor. Every time I've invested in a mentor, I have achieved probably 20-fold return on my investment, and I have that skill for the rest of my life. So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Time is strictly limited. Money is a available resource, a renewable resource. Invest in yourself. Invest in your team. Get a mentor. Get training. Education's not expensive. No education is expensive. So if you would like help implementing these 5 keys into your business so that you can fast track your business starting today, then go to bookcall.biz. Choose a time, schedule your appointment, and then as a second step, fill out a short application. And again, that's for people who are entrepreneurs who have an existing business and who would like to grow their business exponentially, make a bigger difference, reach millions, raise millions, or make millions, or all of the above. And again, my name is Aurora Winter. I'm the founder of the Your $1 Million Message Training, the author of 5 books, and I've got an MBA after spending a year in Italy. All right, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.